This is Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Out of the Fog. Let me introduce you to, well, I guess not really introduce, a familiar face. This is Lloydetta Quaicoe, who is the founder and CEO of Sharing Our Cultures, and also the best dressed guest I have ever had on Out of the Fog. For sure.
Thank you for those compliments.
You're always to the nines. You're always looking so sharp constantly, and it makes me feel bad that this is what I wore today.
That's all right.
First of all, you and I, we've chatted a couple of times before, most recently for our Canada Day celebration special, and we talked a lot about multiculturalism, of course, given your business. Talk a little bit, just to give our audience a refresher, before we talk about the really exciting reason that you're actually here. Talk a little bit about what Sharing Our Cultures does, just for context, and then we'll get into exciting, fun stuff.
Thank you. Sharing Our Cultures engages high school youth from diverse cultural backgrounds and youth as well from Francophone communities and Indigenous communities. And we organize activities for them, give them an opportunity to learn skills, literacy, language, public speaking, presentation skills, so diverse skills, and that will prepare them for whether it's post-secondary education or their career. We also have opportunities where we give grade 6 students, they get to write. We publish cultural context, so they write or draw or a poem or story, and we publish that and distribute it to all the grade 6 students in the province. And we've had other activities. So we had a multicultural classroom activities project where post-secondary youth went into the classrooms and delivered activities, multicultural activities on culture and the environment.
Whatever their native culture would be.
Yes, yeah.
So somebody from Africa or the Sudan or would go into a local classroom here with like elementary school students?
Yep, they were grade 6 students. And so we had a sort of a little bit of a curriculum done up on the 6 main topics. So culture and the environment, how the environment impacts your culture, the celebrations, languages, so various activities that they did with the students in the classroom.
So how long has it been since you founded Sharing Our Cultures? Like how many years in are you?
All right, this is our 21st year.
So, and which is a long time, way longer than I have been on Out of the Fog, and way longer than I will be. You guys are going to get sick of me soon, I'm sure. But just a couple of years ago, because originally it was just in and around the St. John's area, correct?
Yes,
but you've done some expanding.
Yes, we did. So we expanded to Happy Valley, Goose Bay, Corner Brook, Grand Falls, Windsor, and Gander.
Yeah, so you're all across the province here now.
Yes, we are now, yes. So we thought that in the past we used to take students from St. John's to go to Random Island or Clarenville, Swift Current, or Pelican, which was great because usually those students don't have an opportunity to go outside of St. John's.
Yeah.
And then the students in rural and remote communities don't always get an opportunity to meet with students from around the world. So this gives them an opportunity to do that.
You give people an idea of multiculturalism and a lot of the value that it does provide to any local area. But in addition to that education, well, in addition to the opportunities that you provide people of diverse cultural backgrounds, you also do a lot of education on those cultures, which in my mind, especially over the last few months in the BLM movement, that education sort of quells the fear that eventually manifests into racism.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah, so have you seen, like, do you have stories or examples or things that you've seen that happened? Like, you can kind of say, like, these kids maybe would have used to do or say this, but because they understand now, this isn't some crazy holiday. This is just what our life is, right?
Right, yes. Well, usually when we visit the schools and the students participate in Sharing Our Cultures, we give them an opportunity to do an evaluation or sort of a feedback or sort of like an exit slip, like what did you learn? And it's important to share our cultures because, so they get to finish that sentence. And it's amazing what some of the young children would say. It's something like it, well, it gives me an opportunity to know about someone's culture so that I would not discriminate against them.
Yeah, exactly.
So they actually say that because now they know that, oh, this is what this person does in their culture.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's bad, it's just that it's different.
And
it's
I
from us.
never knew that it
Right,
existed.
exactly,
And now I do.
exactly,
So now I
yes.
won't make those accidental mistakes anymore.
Right, exactly.
So these are important things that the world and our local community for sure has needed to know for a while. And you have recently, this is so exciting, sort of joined the Rogers TV family, and sharing our cultures now reaches way more people. So let's talk about that.
Right. Yes. So we're starting our first Sharing Our Cultures on Rogers TV on October 8th at 8 p.m.
Yay!
So I'm really excited about that as well.
Yeah. So you've got a bunch of different guests from a lot of different cultural backgrounds.
Right,
We had a quick chat before the cameras turned on. The first black RNC officer, I believe he's Jamaican born.
Yes, he is.
So you interviewed him, first African dermatologist who was here, or the only, and we think maybe the first. So a lot of really exciting conversations to be had. So what I'd like to do right now is we've actually got a clip, a minute-ish long, sort of a montage of some of the wonderful things that Lloydetta has put together with some of our guests, and we'd like you to watch that right now.
Welcome to Sharing Our Cultures. This is the place where you get to meet amazing individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds who are making significant contributions to the social, cultural, and economic development of Newfoundland and Labrador.
For me, it wasn't an issue at all. I know, other people have different experiences, but yeah, growing up was fine. I just felt like I was one of the guys, and still feel that way.
Asian population, our fertility is actually lowest in the country.
Yeah. But what was that moment like for you?
That's definitely was a life-changing moment. I don't think I'll be able to ever forget that moment.
What are some of the challenges that you face here, either living here or with the restaurant? Join us again next time as we share more remarkable stories of individuals from around the world who've come to call this place home.
So many interesting people with so many interesting, poignant, and important things to be said, their personal stories. I'm wondering, what if you could pick anything for our local audience to take from the interviews that you're having and the stories that you're telling, what would you want the goal to be? Like in the end, Sharing Our Cultures as a television show, what do you want it to do? What impact will it have?
I really wanted to start the conversation around the value of cultural diversity and the significant contributions that individuals from around the world come in here who choose to stay and work and live and raise a family here, what those contributions are that they are making. Because I don't think they have been recognized. They've been doing that for many years.
Yes.
And we also want to dispel the negative discourse around immigration.
Yep.
And the myth that immigrants are here to take their jobs or just depend on the government or something like that. I don't know where that came from, because a lot of the stories from the people that I interviewed are entrepreneurs who are coming here, starting businesses, and employing residents of the province.
I mean, it's fear-based, I think. And I think the fear comes from ignorance. And not like a lot of people use the word ignorance when they really mean rude, but it's just they simply don't know and they don't understand, and it's just information that they don't have. And then we're all trying to do the best we can with what we do have. So then we arrive at an assumption, but we're wrong. And then we're afraid of these things, and no, don't let the immigrants in, they'll take our jobs. So that's not, so I'm really glad that this is something that we're doing here on Rogers TV.
Yeah, well, so I'm happy about that as well, because when I started Sharing Our Cultures, our premise was that if young people get an opportunity to spend time with each other,
Yes.
learn about each other's cultures, they are more likely to respect them and
Yes.
accept them, because now they know about them. I mean, nobody discriminates against their own friends.
No.
Right? So it makes it quite easier for them to relate to each other, because now they know these are nice people. Immigrants are lovely people. We love our children. We love to work. We work hard. We want to give back to our community. In fact, Dr. Bulu Ogunyemi, he studied outside of this province, and I asked him, why did you come back? And he said, I wanted to give back. This is a place I want to live, you know. Joe Teo talked about the work-life balance here, and he has clients globally, and they envy the fact that he can live in St. John's and still work from here.
The only thing that I have to say is that, I'm mad at you as an immigrant because I wanted to start sharing our cultures, so you took that job from me. See, this is how ridiculous we are sometimes. Lloydetta, thank you so much for coming out. Everybody here at Rogers is really excited about your new show, and October the 8th, 8 o'clock in the evening. Thank you, guys. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back after this.
All right, girls.
Mom, you said it's played again.
Workplace injuries hurt the most at home.
With the economic impact of COVID-19 deepening, food banks across Canada are concerned about not having enough food to meet the demand, with many reporting only a 2-week supply remaining. That's why Rogers is partnering with Food Banks Canada in this critical time of need by donating 1 million meals for our fellow Canadians. Let's do what we can. It's time to step up to the plate and donate at foodbankscanada.ca. Together, we can make more possible.
And welcome back to Out of the Fog. So that's an exciting new show that you can catch here. And also, speaking of shows that are coming up this year, Mr. Carl Wells is back again with another season of Point to Point. He's actually got 11 episodes. One of them coming up as soon as you're done watching me right here on Out of the Fog right now. So don't turn the channel when we're done here. I still got more cool, exciting stuff for you. And tonight, he's got the 5th premier of our province, Mr. Clyde Wells, who also sat in the cabinet for Joey Smallwood. Plus, he was a provincial Supreme Court judge. And on that episode of Point to Point after this, he's going to talk about his life story, growing up on the West Coast, what it was like being in the cabinet. And he's even got a couple of little secrets that he hadn't told anybody before that he's going to talk to you guys and Carl Wells about tonight. Now, I got a little clip. Just a little clip so you can see what's coming up. So you definitely are going to want to stay tuned. Have a look at this.
And then I told John what Mr. Smallwood had said to me a couple of weeks earlier. He called me over, and I hadn't told John before. He called me over in the house and he said, "You notice our friend is quiet these days." I said, "I don't know what you mean." He said, "Our friend from St. John's West. You're not going to hear any more from him." I said, "John," I said, "well, why is that?" He said, "Well, I gave him what he wanted." I said, "Really?" "Yes," he said. "I assured him that his family would get all the insurance business arising out of the linerboard mill in Stephenville and all of the shipping business arising out of the oil refinery at Come by Chance." And I said, "Really?" "Yes," he said. Now, I took this to be a divide and conquer by Mr. Smallwood, so I never told John about it, never until that night. And that night, I told him this. He said, "That's a dirty, rotten lie." "That's it," he said. "I'm resigning." So we switched again. And we did resign the next day. And sure enough, Mr. Smallwood gave him a letter demanding his resignation because he said he had demanded that his family companies have the insurance business and the shipping business. That was the complaint. The basis on which Mr. Smallwood said he demanded John's resignation.
I cannot think of two more prolific names in Newfoundland and Labrador political history than Joey Smallwood and John Crosbie. So you're definitely going to want to watch that. Also, this season here on Rogers TV, I'm so excited. Brenda O'Reilly is back with more Scoff Off, and we got some good ones. We got some good ones this time around. We've had, you know what? I don't even want to preach too much, but I was there and I was helping, and all of the funny parts when you laugh, that's probably because I made that part happen, but probably not. It's because the guests are awesome and Brenda is awesome. And we also got a little clip of when Fabian Manning, another massive figure in Newfoundland political history, whose son, I did not know this is who Mark Manning was, lead singer of Rum Ragged, and had two of these guys who cannot cook, but had lots of fun. So here's a little clip for you.
Welcome, Fabian Manning, Senator Fabian Manning. Welcome.
Nice to be here, Brenda.
And his son, of course, Mark Manning.
Thank you.
So now,
anyway, he said, no, that's not the type of senator I'm talking about. He said, I'm talking about the senator Canada. He said, we'd like you to go there. So I've done a lot of that stuff growing up. But you keep talking because I'm really
well, you know, that's very inspirational. and Robert certainly, he was fantastic.
He really changed a lot of people. A lot of people's lives out there. I mean, there's another guy who plays in the band with us now, Zach Nash, who was in the class with me as well.
And so bread, is that what you just said?
I'm going to grill some bread.
So what's life like living in New York? Where do you live downtown? Where do you live?
You know what? I live in Queens.
I did not meet Russell Crowe. No, I did not. It looks like we're in the same shot, but no, we shot those like 2 or 3 days apart.
Are you serious?
And there was one night that my cousin was in from Prince Edward.
That's just the way I am. I wouldn't cross the street because you're so-and-so. You know, you come over here and see me. Or let me tell you a story. And it doesn't matter who it is, as long as they, you know, they're entertained. And
my first guest was Tina Turner.
Oh, wow.
And it went on from that. We had David Bowie, Bryan Adams, O'Reilly's Yellow Belly Team. Right? Now, I'm working on my point schedule here.
This season of Scoff-Off is going to be deadly. That's just one tiny little bit of it. In fact, I bet the best episode of Scoff-Off all time is still yours truly versus my fellow Fog host, Donnie Cody, and I won. Seared tuna, it was amazing. Anyway, let's talk more about other stuff that's been happening around Rogers TV. We're very happy and we're very proud of what Melissa has decided to do and to move onward and upward from her caterpillar into a butterfly, and we're excited, but it means that she left us here. So I got someone for you to meet, and you're definitely gonna want to, so don't go anywhere. We're taking a break.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Welcome back to Out of the Fog. I'm excited to introduce you to somebody, but in order to give you the proper kind of context for what you can expect, let's just reminisce with me for a second over the last number of years watching Out of the Fog with me as your host. If you have found me very relaxed and very unprofessional and just way too chill for TV, then you are gonna love Lynn Hammond. Ladies and gentlemen, Lynn Hammond, the new Wednesday night host. So we'll see you tomorrow night.
That's right, you'll see me tomorrow night. I'm really looking forward to it.
We're all really looking forward to it. And your hair looks so lovely.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're dressed so well. I'm in jeans and a camouflage shirt. So the Wednesday night crowd, they're gonna love you.
Yeah, well, I think I'll be talking a lot about public policy, speaking to some local politicians, also, focusing on nonprofit organizations and some of the things that are really interesting to me. So,
cool.
Yeah.
So before we have a conversation about your background, where you come from, how this added up, I got a quick message from our other co-host, Donnie Cody, because he wants to welcome you too. Right. So ladies and gentlemen, the one and only DC.
Well, hello. What do you got, guys? DC here. Thank you so much for allowing me to come hang out with you guys via virtual life. But hey, that's just what's going on these days, isn't it? Lynn, I'm so thankful that you're going to be joining us this fall on Out of the Fog. When they asked me to join 3 years ago, I didn't know what to expect. I knew the show had been on for years, and so many incredible hosts had graced the screen locally that have gone on to do amazing things themselves. I never realized from arts and entertainment to community, there would be so many impactful guests, so many wicked learnings, and so much information around cool stuff that is actually happening right here in the province every day. And so Jason, it's been so wicked to be hanging out with you over these seasons gone by. Lynn, I can't wait for you to jump into the chair to take over where the amazing Melissa Royal left off, so that we can continue to get all of the exciting, fantastic, important things going on across the province and beyond into the studio and out to all the people across the province who are tuning in to a show that's been on for so many years. I feel like it's been half my life. So thanks again, and Lynn, looking forward to hanging out with you, doing more great stuff, and exposing more of the amazing stories from the incredible people that power this province. So we'll see you soon.
Thank you, DC. Love the hat and the pelican. The hat and the pelican were cool.
I know.
So, do you know Donnie?
I do know Donnie, you know, just from being around town, of course.
Hard not to know Donnie.
Well, and social media these days, you know, the same people tend to show up time after time, and
So
Donnie's definitely one of them.
You're sick of me and Donnie.
I probably spend too much time on social media.
Or not enough. It's not going to get any better now.
Well, it's the way we communicate, and it's the way people like to learn.
Exactly. And now that you have your own television show,
there you go.
You're going to be even that more popular because you've already had some accomplishments. You're no stranger to the screen.
Sure.
You've been interviewed a scattered time before.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your career trajectory and what got you here. What do you think?
So I worked for over a decade with the provincial government. I've been a consultant, worked in the tech, oil and gas, and now mining industry.
So all of the three biggest things that have the opportunity to pull our province out of despair are all fields that you've been involved in.
There you go. For a while, I did commentary,
like
political commentary
stuff,
on CBC.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm an avid volunteer with Equal Voice, which helps to promote and encourage women to run for politics. So.
Which is, I think that that's doing a particularly good job, like right now. So what has been happening over the last number of years, I see more and more people expressing interest, females, women, expressing interest in being in policy, and I get in politics, and I get that's got a lot to do with, you know, having that kind of work, that experience that you've been putting into it.
Yeah, and so I think we focus on diversity overall at decision-making tables, but of course, 50% of the population are women, so we want to make sure women at least consider that path. So.
Yeah. What I would like to know now, like having talked about, you know, where you come from, the value of a lot of things that you have done, how your experience gives you a really good context for how to interview somebody who's, you know, in and around our market and our province. Knowing all of those things, and now the audience knowing all those things, what's your goal? Like if everything lined up perfectly for you, what impact would you have as a host talking about business and politics in our community?
Well, I'm naturally curious, and I think so just through my regular life, I've learned just some really great stories about people who are not Newfoundland famous.
Yeah.
Amazing people doing incredible things in their everyday lives. And so I guess my goal really is just to help those people have a platform to share their stories.
Yeah, because that's like the best part of this whole thing.
It is, it's great.
Right?
Yeah.
It's because, I mean, everybody can tell their stories if they just like, you know, do this for a little while.
Well, that's it.
But now it's totally different. So you've got access to something that you might not have had access to before, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, and people are reaching out to me already, you know, with
asking?
show ideas.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's really good. One time I was, it's not that I didn't have anything to talk about, but I was just curious. Who
I can't
has
imagine
something
you not
that's
having
cool?
anything to talk about.
See? Like, you said sometimes people tell you that you're serious, but I know better. You're witty and you're sharp, and she's already making fun of me, and I'm the one that makes fun of other people. So I think you're gonna fit in just fine around here, Lynn. So here's a question that relates to me, because, you know, it's all about me, obviously. Anyway, I'm a father.
Yes.
And I know you're a mother.
Yeah.
You've got 3 kids, right?
That's right.
And I know what it's like when my little girl, like, catches glimpses of me on TV, or somebody says, Corey, I saw your daddy on TV, and like we'll have like a little thing about it.
Yeah.
What's it like for you? How does the family feel?
Well, it's probably a little different because my husband and I have 3 kids. They're 13, 14, and 15.
Oh,
so
15
teenagers.
years ago you were busy.
Yes, well, we're a blended family,
Okay,
so
I gotcha.
you know the middle one is only half mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, as teenagers, I think they might be like a little bit embarrassed, but you know, at the same time, I'm sure they're proud.
That's fun. You can just
so-
milk that.
For sure.
Now, here's what we want to do. That's your camera.
Yeah.
Say goodnight to your first ever Out of the Fog audience.
Okay, so thank you for joining us on our first show of the season for Out of the Fog. Please join me tomorrow night.
Great. Amazing.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.